Do you have any icks? I've got one.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like it when I get voice notes or voice messages. I actually hate it. Because, like, you get a message, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you just see it on your phone. You can read. Unless, okay, I'm aware there's dyslexic people out there. And for them, voice notes, voice messages are great.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not dyslexic, though.
Right.
I've noticed the people who send these voice notes and voice messages, you know what sort of people they are? They're people who love the sound of their own voice.
You think?
Yeah. Like, think about the people that send you voice notes and voice messages. They just love to talk. And they want people to hear them talk. And I was thinking about this. It was bugging me because I got a voice note recently. And it's just, like, if I have a message, I just look at my phone and that's it. But I have to, like, do a whole thing. I don't know what the voice message says. So I need to get my earphones out, put them in, and I have to listen to it. It's just so long.
It's the procedure of, like, having to listen to it properly. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, I want to, you know, when you're reading something, you can read it at your own pace.
Right.
Whereas the voice message, you have to listen to it as they're speaking. And it's like, bro, speak quicker.
Why do you need this much attention?
Yeah.
Why are you asking so much from me?
So you're saying that they're just trying to get attention?
Just attention seekers.
Bruh. I mean, there's a few people I know off the top of my head, maybe 3 people that religiously send voice messages. Yeah. And you're trying to tell me that they're just attention seeking, loving the sound of their own voice type of people, yeah?
So I did think that, and then I remembered that we have a podcast, and then I was like, oh.
I don't love the sound of my own voice, though. Do you?
So why are you here?
I'm here to share and impart knowledge.
We don't care.
This is the GrassTooth podcast.
The key word of today's episode, you know what it is?
I don't know.
It's trauma. It's not trauma. It's childhood. We're doing a little...
Childhood trauma?
Looking back at the past. What got me here, you know? That sort of thing.
Trials and tribulations.
But trauma is a big part of childhood. Because, like, you're just a little kid. You're just
navigating
the world for the first time.
Exactly.
You see things, you're like, oh my God, what's going on here?
Yeah.
You just remember it. One thing that I think has been, like, quite foundational to the person I am today is a film that I watched. I rewatched it recently.
I mean, of course it's a film, isn't it? See, I'm getting trauma right now.
Just from hearing me
every
talk.
single episode. I watched a film. My life is a film.
My life is a film. Everyone's life is a film.
Okay. Tell me about this film, though. Tell me about this film.
So I watched it for the first time when I was like 6 or 7 years old. And it's a Tamil film.
Okay.
And it's like an 18. But, like, my parents don't give a shit.
Right.
So I watched it.
How old were you, did you say?
Like 6 or 7.
6 or 7. Okay.
And it's, like, very dark. There's, like, quite, not graphic, but, like, there's a lot of violence.
Okay.
Like, a lot of intended, like, you know it's graphic. But, like, they have, like, creative workarounds for it. And, yeah, it's just, there's a lot of, like, philosophy and stuff. Like, it makes you think a lot as well. It's a film called Olavandan.
Okay.
And it's quite famous because... Have you seen Kill Bill?
I've seen Kill Bill, yes.
So Quentin Tarantino, when he was... he's a cinephile. He, like, watches a lot of films. And he's actually seen this film.
Okay.
And it inspired him to... You know the flashback sequences for the... I think her name's Ishi Ren? The Lucy Liu character.
Oh, okay.
You know, they're all animated and, like, you see her thinking back to her childhood and stuff. He got inspired for that from this film.
Right.
So a lot of the graphic violence in this film, they do it through, like, animation style.
Interesting.
And the film follows a guy who has a twin brother who's in a psychiatric ward. And the reason he goes to the psychiatric ward is because he kills their evil stepmother when he was a child.
Okay.
And he's now like an Andrew Tate-like figure. Like, the way he sees the world, it's just like women are evil.
Oh, okay.
And, like, men, it's like an Adam and Eve kind of, like, you know, that whole, like, oh, Pandora's box, like, that's all they're there for, is just to fuck things up. And he escapes out of the psychiatric ward to save his brother from his fiancée who's going to marry.
Okay.
And he thinks it's his stepmother reincarnate. So, like, as a 6 or 7 year old...
Must have blown your mind.
I was just watching this, like, what the hell is going on?
Did you look at your mum differently?
No, definitely not.
Okay.
How dare you even insinuate such a thing? But I rewatched it, and it's like it wasn't a hit at the time, but it became a cult classic, and people look back at it and they're like, "Wow, this film was ahead of its time." Especially with the whole Quentin Tarantino revelation, because he revealed it like years later that he watched that film.
Okay.
And it became a cult classic, and they re-released it very recently in cinemas, and I went and watched it. It's a 3-hour film.
Right.
They cut it down to 2 hours. So already it's not the same film. And like I always had this thing where, Star Wars fans, they have this thing where when George Lucas remasters films, he changes things. And Star Wars fans hate it. They're like, why?
It's not the same.
It's not the same. Like I always used to think, what losers, man? Like who cares?
Yeah.
But now that's happened to a film that means a lot to me, I sympathize.
Deeply upset you.
Yeah, I sympathize with them.
Okay.
Do you have any films that maybe you shouldn't have watched? Maybe you just remember them. You're just like, oh, this did something to me.
So, I've watched a few films, right? But I think they traumatized me in a different way.
Right.
Not in the way... I mean, okay, so I watched... very similar in terms of what you've been mentioning, right?
Yeah.
I wasn't even that young when I watched it. I was like maybe 11, 12. That's still childhood, right? Is that still childhood?
Late childhood.
Late childhood, but still childhood.
Were you at secondary school? 11, 12,
I think so, yeah.
I think that's still... yeah.
I'm still in my early...
Yeah, you're adjusting into...
I was this tall.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't watch the whole film, but I caught a glimpse of Rambo 4.
Right.
Have you watched that?
I watched it when it came out. Yeah.
Do you remember this? The Burmese like village massacre scene?
Maybe, I think. Yeah,
that fucked me up a bit.
This is where he's older and there's like a lot of mud and he's got his like bow and arrow and he's doing. I think it's like exploding bow and arrow.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't watch a lot of the film because after this bit, I watched it with I think I was just hiding behind the sofa whilst my dad was watching it.
Right.
And like I watched this bit and I just started getting really emotional and I left. Do you remember the village massacre scene?
As in, I watched
they're killing babies.
I watched the whole movie. And
you just don't remember it. I mean, yeah, but like that kind of traumatized me.
Yeah,
the violence and the pure sadist nature of what was happening that kind of freaked me out. So that traumatized me. But a lot of the films that did traumatize me, I don't think they were developed to traumatize people, but they traumatized me.
You'd be surprised.
In different ways. And I'm going to say something. I'm going to say a film. And you might laugh.
I won't laugh.
And the people...
people might laugh.
You might laugh.
But I won't laugh.
Okay. It was Lion King. Lion King.
A lot of people were traumatized by Lion King.
Yeah.
Was it when Simba died?
Mufasa.
Oh, sorry.
Was when Mufasa died. Because I think that was the first time something awoke in my sense of morality, or my dad's morality. I started thinking, oh my god, that could be my dad at any point. Like my dad's not going to be here forever.
Do you mean morality or mortality?
Mortality.
Okay, fine.
I meant mortality.
I was like, your morality and then your dad's morality.
No, like, mortality. Sorry, my bad.
Okay, sure.
And I started to freak out a bit, and I was like, oh, that's when I first started to think about like, oh, like you can't live forever, and it really dawned upon me.
Yeah.
And I watched it when I was quite young, so I was like, that traumatized me. I remember having like for a year and a half. I remember how long it was. For a year and a half, I was traumatized.
Right. That's not. Yeah, as in, I think a lot of Disney films have these sequences that like are intentionally like pushing the edges a bit, just so they stick in people's minds. For example, you've seen Dumbo, right? The original animated.
Yeah.
Like for ages, like that sequence where Dumbo and the little mouse they get like drunk on some liquid. And they start seeing the pink elephant dances.
Oh, I think so. Kind of like a trip.
Yeah, like a whole trip. Like I remember seeing that as a kid, and it just stuck with me. I was like, "This is just insanity." You know?
Yeah.
So I think a lot of Disney films do have that little thing that, like, let's get this little kid
because it has to cater for the adults as well.
Yeah,
like it's not just for the kids. It's the adults going to the cinemas to have something to.
I don't remember the first time that I thought about mortality. But I do remember when my nephew first thought about it, and that was really funny because
it was funny.
It was so funny. He was like 5 or something, and
no.
I was.
How old were you?
8? No.
Oh, so you were
5? No, 13. I was 13.
Oh, you're quite. Okay.
Yeah, I'm 8 years older, I think. And then I remember him suddenly like start crying, and we're all just like, "What's wrong with this kid? This 5-year-old little kid?" And then he goes, "Oh, my mum's gonna die." Like, what the fuck? Where's this come from?
He must have watched Lion King.
He might have.
He saw Mufasa get trampled on.
But it was out. No, it wasn't like we were watching the movie. Right. It was like we couldn't connect the dots. He just randomly started crying. But that was funny.
Oh, poor kid. Is he doing better now? Or?
No, he's still grappling.
He's still crying. Yeah.
Okay. 15 years later.
Right.
But yeah.
Fair enough. I mean, going back to parents though, and trauma actually. Forget films, because I'm not about films.
I'm all about films.
I know you are, but I'm not about films.
Okay.
What about in reality, in real life? Have your parents given you any trauma? I mean, we both have Asian parents, right? I'm sure you've gone through a lot.
I have. I have.
Anything that sticks out?
Too much. So I fancy myself a bit of a chef, you know, a bit of a experimental guy. Tries different things, even as a kid. I'm the bear. I am the bear. But as a child, what we would do, we'd get like these, because there's loads of kids. I've got like 6 siblings, so we'd get like these big tubs of like Neapolitan ice creams.
They always hit the spot, by the way.
Yeah. As in, I haven't had one in years, but as a child, bit of this, bit of that, bit of that. And when my dad was sleeping, we got the tub, and there was like enough for all of us. And I got the bright idea. I think I was like 6 or 7 or 8, and this happened. I had the bright idea, and I was like, guys, instead of eating this as ice cream, why don't we turn this into a milkshake?
Okay, that's a good idea.
Yeah, it's standard. It's like, at that age, you're like, yeah, it's
experimental,
a great idea.
Man.
So what we did, we just started. We got spoons, and we just started stirring the ice cream, slowly, and like.
Oh, you didn't have a blender at that point.
As in, I didn't think it,
Right,
I was just like, we can just make. Just wait for this to melt. We didn't think about putting milk in and doing all of that.
Just the ice cream.
Yeah, just the ice cream. Just wait for it to melt, and it will become a milkshake, and we can try all the different flavors at the same time.
Oh, yeah.
So we were just stirring it. And then once it's all liquidy, the door opens and my dad comes in. And what he sees is these 5 like little ratty kids just fucking up a box of ice cream. That's just what his mind goes to. He's like, because these kids, they're all brats,
Yeah.
So he just looks at us and he was like, whose idea was this? And they all just point at me.
Oh, bro, they all snaked you.
Yeah, 100%. They're all snakes, bro. They all point at me. And so he just picks up the tub of ice cream and just turns it over on my head. And it just all went down my face. And I just burst out crying. And I just ran to the garden because it was just making a mess everywhere. But ice cream's like
that's so sad.
It's my favorite food, even though.
That's so sad, bro. Hey, don't cry, man. Don't cry.
I know. You just bring it back a lot.
So sorry.
Oh. Yeah.
But you still have a healthy relationship with Neapolitan ice cream, is that?
I don't think I've had it since. I love ice cream. I think it's my favorite food, but I haven't had it since.
Right. Okay. That's really upsetting, man.
Yeah.
Okay.
What about
Interesting. So I want to preface everything that I'm about to say by just saying I was brought up by 2 lovely, Korean, wholesome parents. And everything they did for me because
they loved
me. However, my mom was in her Asian tiger mum era for a few years before we went to the school, because we went to a selective school, right? And you had to take a test to get in. She turned into supreme leader type, like Asian.
Just to make sure you
mom,
get in.
Just to make sure I get in, right? And she was at that point she was scary, but so she played the role of essentially the leader, the king of the jungle, the queen of the jungle, and my dad was mostly like the enforcer,
right?
So he would carry out the punishments that she would hand down, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there was a handful of times where I'd run into the toilet crying and lock myself in, and she'd try and catfish me by saying, "Hey, I'm not gonna hit you. Just come out."
And then you open the door and she throws a plate.
And the moment I come out, it's just madness. And I can't run back in because she locks the toilet. She holds the toilet, she barricades the toilet door, so I can't go back in. So I'm just running around the house. But there's a few times, right? I don't know if you've ever had this. But I've had a few conversations. I think a lot of people have experienced this, right? My mum used to like, she gets up, she punishes me about something, right? And then instead of enforcing it herself, she rats me out to my dad.
Right.
So she tells my dad that I did this.
Yeah.
Oh, Yonny, spilt a bit of milk. I mean, it was normally a bit more serious than that. But like, she'd rat me out, and then my dad would, as the enforcer, carry out the punishment, right? And as he's carrying it out, because he's just doing what he's been told. My mum would come,
following orders. Sorry, carry on.
Yeah, following orders, and I'm really going into the.
No, I like it though. I don't know. They probably will.
What the relationship looks like between my parents, but so I'm getting punished, right? And my mum then comes in and goes, "Hey, stop! What's going on? What's going on? Hey, stop hitting him!"
Wait, but you're not aware that she's the one.
Sometimes I'm aware, sometimes I'm not.
Yeah.
But most of the time, I knew that I was like, "How did my dad find out?"
She's pulling the strings.
Clearly, my mum must have told him, right? So, there's times where she comes in and she pretends to be like the angel. Do you know what I mean?
Saving him.
Hey, please. Oh, come on. He's a good kid. He's a good kid. He's a good kid. And I'm just staring at her. Like, I'm the reason Papa has a belt. What are you doing? But yeah, aside from that, my parents are very lovely parents. It's only a handful of times that's happened, but it's, I can understand why, because I used to be a terrible child. I used to be a brat, a real bad child. But yeah.
Speaking of selective schools, funny you should mention that, because we're going to go into something called the GlassTruth.
The GlassTruth. Making sense of...
Welcome to the GlassTruth, hosted by your hosts. They are the great hosts, Gopi and Yonny. And today, with the news, it's Gopi. There's been a shift in recent times. We both went to an all-boys school. I don't know if you can tell.
What do you mean? Is it blindingly obvious that we went to an all-boys school?
So I had this thing, right? Yeah. I had a friend who I was getting to know, and I asked her, because she seemed like she went to a girls' school. So I said, "Oh, did you go to a girls' school?" And she got really offended.
She got offended?
She got super offended.
Right.
And I was like, "Oh, what's there to be offended by? It's fine. Like, I went to an all-boys school, so like..." And she goes, "Oh, you went to an all-boys school? Oh, I could tell." And as soon as she said that, I got offended. Yeah. So I suddenly understood why she got offended.
And I got offended. That you just said is obvious. But why? Why is that the case, actually? I don't know.
But there's been a shift. Okay. And a lot of schools in the UK are thinking about getting rid of single-sex schools.
Right, okay.
And they're going to start introducing co-ed schools. Changing them to co-ed schools. And this isn't just in the UK.
Right.
Places in Australia, schools in Australia are going co-ed. Schools in Mumbai, India, going co-ed. Single-sex schools going co-ed.
Right, okay.
And I was wondering, what are your thoughts on
about schools going co-ed?
Yeah.
I see the merits of it. It depends, like, I mean, from my perspective, I think going to an all-boys school, but it's not just an all-boys school, it's a selective all-boys school,
right?
Where, like, I mean, the school we went to, like, they prioritize good grades and stuff, right? So the merits of that is obviously you get good grades, you can go to a good uni or whatever, there's more career opportunities for you. But then the disadvantage that I think I experienced, and I think most of us experienced, I don't know if you experienced this, was that culturally and socially, like, I just don't think we had the best environment growing up.
Yeah, for sure.
I didn't know anything about women. I didn't know anything about fashion. Just general life stuff that you need to succeed in life. Yeah. Because, life isn't all about good grades and good degrees and getting that corporate lawyer job. Like, you need to know how to speak to people, how to communicate. All of those skills are very valuable, and I don't think we get that.
Starved.
We were hungry.
It was
famished.
I've got a story. And
deprived.
I think about it often.
Yeah.
Okay. So I always feel sorry for female teachers at single-sex schools because I know what they go through constantly, right? I had a teacher, as in I never had her, but like I was like, she cute. You don't need to guess. Maybe you'll guess. Maybe you'll guess from the rest of the story.
Keep explaining, yeah.
But like, I never had her as a teacher.
We went to the same school, by the way, in case it's not obvious. Yeah.
And you know how teachers would go around on like lunch rounds?
Yeah.
So we were at Red Square, which is maybe like the size of 2 kind of 5-a-side football pitches.
Yeah.
And I'd be at one corner of Red Square, which is my little corner. I always used to hang out there.
Yeah.
As soon as this teacher entered through the doors on the other corner, I could smell her from that corner. Oh. Do you know who I'm talking about?
I'm going to say the department. I'm going to bleep it out there. Is it?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Okay. Right. I know who you're talking about.
I could smell her.
But she smelled very good.
She smells so good.
A bit too strong, but very good. Very good. She smelled very good.
If we ever find out, perfume. Good stuff.
Yeah.
But like, that's the level that being at a single-sex school is at. It's awful. It's like, you don't need to be in that headspace, you know?
Your sense of good perfume, like just, it lifts. You know where they say, like, when other things are deprived, when other senses are deprived, one of them heightens. So your sense of smell for a really nice perfume really went up there. Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, I think, personally for me, I never tried at school. You know that. I just didn't give a fuck. And I still got decent grades.
You did, yeah.
Went to a decent uni.
All right, well, we went to the same uni, so it's a good uni, bro.
So, for me, I feel maybe I would have been more distracted if there were girls. But I think I was distracted enough as it was. I don't think the inclusion of girls... If anything, I think having girls there, it's just normal. Like, what kind... But I also think that our school would be one of the last... If they were ever to make the change to co-ed, would be one of the last two.
Oh, it's not going to change for... certainly in our lifetime, it's not going to change for sure.
They're so stuck in, like, literally old school mentality.
I remember back in the day, like, you couldn't even get a proper haircut. Like, there's a certain way to get a haircut, which I thought was very discriminatory.
The first thing we got, so it has to be shorter. No, it couldn't be shorter than a certain length, and it couldn't be longer than a certain length. It needs to be just the right amount.
Just right.
Like Goldilocks level, you know? Yeah. And the first thing I thought when we ended school was I was either going to grow out my hair or shave all my hair off. Guess which one I did. But we had to do an entrance exam.
We did.
And speaking of entrance exams, GlassTruth Part 2.
Oh, there's 2 parts.
2-parter.
Oh my goodness. Oh my.
So recently, very, very recently, there was a case, and we're going back to South Korea. I don't know, it's a little country. I don't know if you know it. Recently, there was an exam called Suneung.
Suneung.
And it's this like marathon of an exam. It's, what was it, like 8 or 9 hours long? It's 8-hour marathon.
It's a disgusting principle.
Yeah.
But I'm interested to hear.
So what happened was, one of these exams, these kids, they study all year for it, you know, really practice for it. And one of the exams, the teachers ended it 90 seconds before it was supposed to end. And this caused an uproar.
Chaos.
And now, students, their parents, and the students' lawyers are asking for 20 million won each, which is equal to £12,000, which is the cost of a year's studying to retake the exam. School's getting sued. I would sue my school.
Oh, 100%, bro.
But that's besides the point. What are your thoughts on Suneung?
I mean, I can see why, man. Like, Suneung is... Forget the Suneung, right? Like, Korea, education-wise, is notoriously an absolute hellhole. Like, it is disgusting. It's filthy. I mean, people get good grades, and, like, getting into basically their version of Cambridge, which is Seoul, like Cambridge or Oxford, which is Seoul National University, is like, you have to be like the top 0.0001% of intelligence and grades to get in. So it's notoriously very difficult. Anyway, but the concept of the Suneung is just a marathon of different exams. Like, I actually saw the English part of it, the English exam of the Suneung, right? I checked out of myself as someone who was brought up in the UK. Like I wasn't born here, but I was raised in the UK from like the age of 10 months old, right? Even I was struggling.
Yeah.
And I remember I saw this YouTube video of like English teachers in the UK struggling with this English exam.
Yeah.
And the reason they're struggling with it is because it's not conversational or good English. They just intentionally put in random, really difficult words. It's almost as if they've translated a very difficult Korean sentence into English.
Right.
And like it makes sense in Korean, but it doesn't make sense in English. And like it's disgusting. And the fact that Korean, like, I don't know if you've actually experienced this, right? Because we've got a few Korean friends in our network, right? A lot of them are very self-conscious about their English.
Right.
I don't know if you've clocked this. And the reason for this is because they actually probably know a lot more terms than me.
Yeah.
But like in terms of their conversational English, they get very like shy about it because they're like, we don't actually know like how to properly speak to people because we didn't learn that sort of stuff. It's tragic, man.
It's kind of like us at our school, not learning how to talk to people either. Self-conscious. But also, I want you to keep that in mind because that's going to come up later. How were you in exams? Let me tell you how I was. And let me tell you what I would have done at this Suneung thing if I was one of the students that got that 90-second cut. I'm very blunt and to the point when it comes to exams. I remember during exams, I'd see kids put up their hands, ask for extra sheets and stuff. And I'm just looking at them, bruv. I'm like, bruv, I've barely finished one side. Like, why are you asking for extra sheets? And yeah, I was always to the point. I did the bare minimum and tried to get as much out of it as I could. Right? Okay. And because of that, I finished exams like 15, 20 minutes before everyone else. Right? So I would have been sat there 20 minutes before everyone else finished with that 90-second thing at the end.
And claim.
And everyone's like, oh no, miss, we got 90 seconds, why'd you stop it? And I would be like, yeah, miss,
just join in
as well. I want my 12 grand.
Where's my lawyers?
Get my lawyers on the phone.
100%. You'd be foolish not to do that, right? Get that bag, get that bread. Do you know what I mean?
What about you?
Me with exams, I've got a very, very, what's the word? Not a very good relationship with exams. I feel like exams for me, from memory, because it's been a few years ago, like they just felt like memory exams.
Right.
It's just how much I can remember.
Right.
Like a lot of the stuff I use for those exams, like there are things I don't apply in real life. I think that's general school stuff anyway. Yeah. But like especially in exams, like I remember it was regardless of whether it was for school or uni, it was just cramming everything in last minute and just hoping it stays in my mind during the exam. But for me, like the biggest stress of an exam is actually after it. You know, when you finish an exam and you walk out and you meet some of your friends
and they start sharing answers
and they're debating the answer. They're like, oh no, I think it's 3 and I think it's 4 and your answer is 6,500. Like it's just that's when the panic sets in and you're like, oh, I need to go home and start crying because this is mad. But
I had an exam. It's a friend of ours, a Gujarati friend of ours, and we did economics and business together.
Yeah.
And it was a 1-hour exam.
Yeah.
Half an hour into it, I'd fallen asleep. And then I woke up with 5 minutes to spare. And he was just creasing.
And he'd even try and wake you up.
I'm surprised I wasn't snoring because I managed to sleep for 25 minutes.
Bro.
Oh, God.
Did he clock you asleep from like when you started sleeping or just near the end when you?
I don't know. It was a bit of a clown thing.
I have a story. I think you probably heard about this. Someone shat in our exam.
Okay, no, we're not bringing that up.
We know.
No, man.
Why?
Let him live.
Let him live. Alright, fine.
Speaking of exams, though.
Yeah. Is that why you asked for the pen and paper? What are you gonna ask? What are you gonna do? Oh no, I don't like this, man.
Oh, I don't like exam conditions, miss. No. I've actually translated some of the Suneung questions. And I want you to try and get 80%.
That's too much. That's a first. Is that first? That's more than a first.
Do you want to get into SNU or not?
Huh?
Seoul National University. That's what we're trying to get
Seoul National Uni, man. Number 1 uni.
Number 1 physics question.
Bro,
Go on.
I'll say 8 science, man.
According to Planck's equation,
Plankton.
what makes atoms...
From SpongeBob SquarePants.
According to Planck's equation, what makes atoms untrustworthy? I've just translated it from Korean to English.
Okay.
Question 2. What physical limitations... This is biology. What physical limitations mean skeletons are unable to engage in conflict action?
What? Say that again, sorry?
What physical limitations mean skeletons are unable to engage in conflict action?
Okay. Oh, this is... Bro, you're just... Okay, alright.
Okay. Number 3, English literature. In the sequel to Charlotte's Web, Edna's Web, why did Sally the Scarecrow win an award?
So, Edna's
Web.
Edna's Web.
Why did Sally the Scarecrow win an award?
Okay.
Number 4. Galileo, this is physics. Galileo hypothesized that a cluster of galaxies are organized in which way to form a space party?
A space party?
Yeah.
You're such a twat. So which way they were organized for it to become a space party?
Yeah.
Is that like a specific term that you're looking for?
Yeah.
Galileo. Okay, I don't...
Which way are they organized in?
Which way?
Yeah. To form a space party.
Oh no, bro, we can't let this out. Okay.
Alright, finally.
Okay.
This is biology/geography. In what manner would a penguin construct its habitat?
In what manner?
Yeah.
But would they structure their what, sorry?
Construct its habitat.
Construct its habitat. In what manner? What manner? Very, very vague question. As a... I just want to say I've got a law degree.
Have you got... That's it. That's the end of the exam. It's not 8-hour marathon.
Bro, I've got to fail, man. I've got to read it.
Okay. First question. I want you to read out your answer after I've asked the question. Why don't scientists trust atoms?
Lack of communication.
Because they make everything up. They make up everything.
That's the answer.
Yeah. Number 2.
Piss off.
Why don't skeletons fight each other?
Why don't skeletons fight each other?
Yeah.
Was that the question?
Yeah.
Why does that sound different to what you asked initially?
What's the answer?
I just said because of like the joints and the connections.
They don't have the guts.
Was it? So you're pretending that this is a Suneung Exam, and you've just got a list of dad jokes, making me look like a fool on the internet.
Why did the scarecrow win an award?
I just thought she was a scary scarecrow.
Because she was outstanding in her field.
I've got a story about that. We'll go back to
it. I know the story. I was going to bring it up after this. How do you organize a space party? You plan it. What did you say?
I wrote clockwise.
And finally, how does a penguin build its house?
I just said with their friends. That's genuinely what I wrote.
It glues it together. So Yonny got 0 out of 5 for that.
Was that funny, yeah?
He's not getting into Seoul National University. You're a disappointment.
I'm a joke.
Are you getting flashbacks to your childhood?
Yeah.
Tell us the outstanding story.
Oh, yeah. So back in our school, right? If you did anything good, right? Good piece of homework, a good deed, you're a good boy.
Good boy.
You get something called a good note. And obviously, if you're a naughty boy, you get something called a bad note. But a good note is basically when a teacher writes something inside your... We all had a personal diary. And they'll write something like, oh, you know, Gopi did this amazing work. Great stuff. And like, it tallies it, right? I was in registration at one time, and one of my IT teachers, and she taught me directly, she came into the room and said, Yonny, can you come see me, please, for some outstanding like homework?
Bring your diary.
Bring your diary. So I heard that as, you've done some great work, like outstanding work. Bring your diary so I can give you a good note. So I was really happy, and like, I was like, okay, cool. So I bring my diary, I like huddle over to her office, and I've already put it on the good note page. I've left it on the good note page for her to write a good note, and she just looks at my diary and goes, what's this? I'm like, oh, miss, like a good note, no? She was like, why? I was like, outstanding homework. Like, great work, no? And then she burst into laughter as she's flicking to the bad note page. And I'm horrified at this point. I'm like, what the hell?
She's probably thinking, what homework, bro?
What homework?
You don't even have any homework. How dare you come here looking for a good note for outstanding work?
I hadn't handed anything in. Yeah, that was.
I feel like me and you were both like notorious for accumulating bad notes.
In year 7, well, the first year of school, I accumulated the most. I think definitely in our year, but potentially.
I keep telling you, like, he's a bad boy.
A bad boy.
He's a bad boy.
Do you know what I mean? I got a bad note within the first 20 minutes of joining that school. I pushed a little friend into a locker. And I think that really set it off. Let's set it off.
Oh gosh, good times. And that is the GlassTruth.
Great times.
So we actually got sent in a question.
Yes, we did.
Do you want me to read it out for you?
Do it. Yep.
It's by a viewer of ours called B Rumble Snacks. Was it you, bro? There's something called the Perilla debate.
The Perilla, right?
Though, you know, just floating around on the internet. And it hails from, once again, South Korea.
Corée du Sud.
Du Sud, oui.
Corée.
And have you heard about it? Do you know what the gist of this is?
Kind of. I think I've seen it floating around as well.
So it brings up this hypothetical situation. And I've decided to, you know, bring it to the UK, you know, adapt it a bit. Okay? So let's say your girlfriend and your girlfriend's friend, a female friend, go out for dinner.
Yeah.
You go to a nice Italian restaurant that you've heard about. And for some reason, this Italian restaurant, you know, it aligns with your philosophies about food. Okay. They don't have any forks at this Italian restaurant. They've only got spoons. And there's someone who's, you know, a whiz with the spoon. You're just getting through the spaghetti like it's no one's problem.
With a spoon. Sorry, even just the sound of it. With a spoon.
With a spoon, because we got rid of all forks.
Okay.
And because your girlfriend, she's been with you a while, and you don't allow forks around the house, she can eat it just fine as well.
With a spoon. Okay.
She's struggling a bit because you know she's not as.
She's trying to grasp it, but she hasn't got it.
But your girlfriend's friend,
right,
struggling with the spoon. She is having the worst time. She hasn't had a single bite to eat.
Right
now, would you reach over and help her with her food? So the Korean version of this,
right,
it uses a dish called Perilla, and it instead of cutlery, it's chopsticks. You know, which is a form of cutlery in itself.
I think there's a big difference, though.
Right. What's the difference
in this comparison?
What's the difference?
The difference is that the Perilla leaf, otherwise known as getnip, for all the Korean fans, getnip, absolute banging side dish. It's a dish. It's a side dish.
Right.
It's not a main dish. So typically, this won't be on someone's personal plate.
Right. Okay, you're all sharing the pasta.
We're sharing a pasta.
Yeah.
And this friend's struggling to pick the pasta up with her spoon.
Yeah.
I just laugh at her.
You wouldn't help?
I just laugh at her. Who doesn't know how to pick up pasta? If you said spaghetti, that's a different thing. Did you say spaghetti?
No, it was spaghetti, yeah.
It was spaghetti.
Spaghetti's a form of pasta, bro.
When you think pasta, I'm thinking the fusilli.
Or penne.
Ravioli.
Penne.
No.
But it's not. Spaghetti.
Tagliatelle. That's spaghetti. Fine, spaghetti. Okay. What would I do in that situation? I think, firstly, what I do in that situation probably differs from what I actually think of it, like my opinion of it. What I would do in that situation is I just pretend not to see it. Like a bird.
So you guys have been eating for like 10 solid minutes.
Yeah.
Your girlfriend's friend hasn't had a single bite to eat yet.
I can just hear her grunting because she's struggling.
And what? You're still just gonna complete? You've almost finished the food.
Yeah.
And she hasn't had a single bite. You're still not gonna. You're just gonna ignore it
because this is clearly a controversial issue. If it's a debate that's come up, right?
Right.
So like,
but if you weren't aware of the debate,
if I wasn't aware of the debate,
yeah, why would you let the debate inform what you would do anyway?
Okay, but even then, I wouldn't. It'd be like a Bird Box situation. I wouldn't want to see it. You know, hear no evil, see no evil.
Right.
That type of vibe. I just pretend like to not see it. I think that's my first. That's my first port of call. However, if it's really clear that she's struggling, and we've locked eyes, and I can see that she's struggling,
there's like her eyes are brimming.
She's literally her face is red, and she looks at me like almost asking for help, but she hasn't said anything to me. Right?
She just mouths the word "please" to you.
She's that hungry.
No, she's not doing that. No, because like if she starts asking for help,
then it's different.
But
like, okay, if it's clear, if it's clear that she needs help, right, and we've both accepted that fact, we're in this reality. I think first, I think it depends on how close I am with this friend. If I'm very close with her, I just laugh at her.
Okay.
I'd laugh at her with the premise of getting my girlfriend to see that.
Right.
It becomes public news that she's struggling, and then my girlfriend would go and help her. Right? So I'm out of the equation.
Okay.
That's what I do. If I'm not that close to her, then obviously I can't just laugh at her because that's a bit rude, right? What I do then is I'd be nudging and kicking my girlfriend under the table,
right?
Kind of like just playing a bit of footsie.
Yeah.
And then she's like awakening from her slumber, and, like,
her food.
So her food coma, and she's like, "What's going on? What's going on?" And I'll be like, "Why are they making gorilla noises?" I don't know. I'll get her to. I'll be like, "Come on, man, look at your friend, bro. She's really struggling." And then she'd go and help.
Right.
That's what I do. That's personally what I do. In terms of what I think about it, I think it depends. I think it depends on the situation.
Right.
Whenever you're helping, like your other half's best friend, it depends on what you're helping with. Right. I think a bit of spaghetti on a plate, is that personal? It's kind of borderline. Okay. Like, let me use another example, which I think I saw as well. It's like if your girlfriend's friend is cold, and the jacket thing, right? I think that's different.
I'll say it. Go to the same restaurant, and Yonny's dressed up. He's got a hoodie with like a warm jumper underneath.
Mm-hmm. A gilet.
Girlfriend is wearing like a nice jumper. She's warm. And the AC is blasting. Their friend can't use spoon to save her life, and has dressed. It's a warm day outside, but the place is blasting AC.
I'd question her intelligence, to be honest.
She is shivering. Like once in a while, you just see her, just do the whole body shake sort of thing. Now, would you take off your hoodie and give it to her?
See, if that's different. That's different.
Why?
There's a difference between just going like, "Hey, do you want my jacket? Do you want to wear it?" Giving her the jacket for her to wear, as opposed to putting a jacket on her.
Right.
There's a difference. One's personal.
No, but would you ask?
One's just supporting.
Would you ask?
I would ask, yeah.
Okay.
I would ask, yeah.
Would you ask your girlfriend before you asked her?
No, I would. I'd be like, if she's clearly struggling, right? First, I'd question why my girlfriend hasn't clocked it either.
Yeah.
But let's just say she can't.
Yeah.
I'd be like, are you sure you want to wear my jacket? Because I don't think that's a personal act of giving your jacket. Not putting a jacket on her, that's too personal. But like just giving her a jacket to be like, "Hey, like, you cold? Yeah, you can wear this, right?"
So what you're telling me is that you won't just straight away help someone out with their spaghetti, but you will remove a piece of clothing which has your musk, your scent. If she'll take it, she'll smell it. Yonny, You know, that's what your girlfriend would think. You would do that rather than just help her out with a bit of food.
Do you know what I do?
What?
I'd give my coat to my girlfriend. And she can give her coat to her friend.
Pass the parcel.
Yeah, I pass the parcel. Oh, it's too far. Sorry, let me just give it to my girlfriend and she can pass it on. Okay, then it alleviates that problem. The food thing, right, is the simple solution to what you've just said is food. Just separate it so that she can come and collect it. That's what I do. So that's the thing with the original question with the gendip, with the perilla leaf, is that I can separate the perilla leaves out so that she can just collect it herself. The difficulty of the perilla leaf is that the leaves are so closely stuck together. That's the hardest bit. So if I separate it out for them, they can collect it by themselves. Whereas putting a whole perilla leaf on her plate, I think is too personal. Because I'm going into a safe space. Do you know what I mean?
What safe, bruv? You're at a table at a restaurant.
No, but like that's a perilla leaf. You don't understand how hot it is to separate a perilla leaf. Like the amount of finger play. You can't be doing that. It's like, for example, if I had a jacket on, right, but underneath I was just wearing a shirt.
Look how dexterous Yonny is.
Yeah, exactly. With the coat situation, right? If I was wearing a coat, but then underneath I was wearing like a tank top, I wouldn't take off my coat. That's too hot. That's too filthy. You can't be doing that.
I'm going to read some of the comments that this debate, the jacket debate.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no! This is the chopsticks debate with perilla leaves.
The gendip, yep.
Okay, for people who doesn't get the depth, think about it as their jacket. Imagine a girl is struggling with her jacket zipper, and your man zips it up.
Yeah,
you're that's two of the same things.
As the perilla leaf. Zipping
up someone's jacket for them and perilla leaf.
Yeah, I don't agree with that.
What about doing up someone's shoelaces because they can't do it? That's you getting down on your knee as well.
Yeah, I think that's too personal. I think that's way too personal.
It's not okay at all. I would have a talk with my man. If I was the other friend, I would feel uncomfortable. You ever think about how she would feel?
Yeah. No.
Why are you
I don't know, man. I don't know.
If I didn't notice, then it's not okay. Because he must have been watching her. How are you clocking that she's struggling if her friend didn't even notice?
My original point was I wouldn't clock it. Bird box.
You would clock it, but you just act like you didn't. You scumbag. Wake up and break up. That's another comment.
Wow. That's a bit too serious, man. Come on, guys.
He should mind his own business or tell me to help her.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
That's what I said.
Do you want to hear my thoughts on this?
Tell me.
You're all overthinking it, alright? Calm down. If someone's struggling, help them out. Good lord. Get a grip. What do you think about that?
I think that's fair enough.
Like, someone's cold,
and
they look like they need some help. Just give them a jacket. It's fine.
That's my point. I'm happy to give.
If someone's can't eat, do you know how frustrating it is if you're hungry and you physically can't eat it? Just help her out. Good lord. And if your significant other has an issue with that, what's her problem? What is your problem? Your friend is struggling. You can't even see it. We're all eating. She just wants to eat the perilla leaves. That's what it is. It's like, oh, she can't eat it, so let me eat more.
It boils down to your significant other not clocking it. As a good friend, they should have clocked it.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, if it was me, you, and my girlfriend at a table, right?
Yeah.
And then you're really struggling to eat a perilla leaf. Right? I would see it immediately, and then I'd laugh at you. But then ultimately, I would give you a perilla leaf because you're my friend, right?
Would you be upset if your girlfriend gave me one though?
No, I personally, I
wouldn't. Even though she's coming into my safe space, and I'm like, oh,
yeah, I wouldn't.
Personally. I feel some kind of way. She's nurturing. She's feeding me.
The personal space bit.
Yeah.
The personal action, not even just the space, the personal action bit is the key thing for me. Right?
Okay.
If she puts a perilla leaf for you to take,
yeah,
calm. Even if she puts it on your plate
What if she puts it in my mouth?
Mind. Then it's a bit. Then that gets a bit weird.
Your girlfriend.
That gets a bit weird, bro.
Do you know what his girlfriend did? We went to Bournemouth. We talked about this. She threw a glass bottle of ketchup at my head.
But it came from a good place.
I'm allergic to tomatoes, and she threw a glass bottle of ketchup at my head.
No.
It was banana ketchup. I know. That's fine.
It came from a good heart.
I know. No. Right? I could tell. I could really tell. Yeah, I was touched. Even though there was ketchup all over me, I was like, oh, that's sweet.
Yeah. I think the personal space bit is important. So again, my point about the jacket is calm. Give the jacket, but that's the transaction finished.
Even though she's like sniffing you and stuff.
Huh? If she's sniffing me, I'm taking my jacket back, bro. Then she has an issue. Then she has a problem.
Essence of Yonny.
No. Then she has a problem.
No, but it's not whether she sniffs it or not. It's if your girlfriend thinks that's what she's doing. Like, oh, I'm getting Yonny warmth. Oh yeah. No,
I don't know. I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so.
So what is the conclusion here? Tell us what you would do. Would you give people your jacket and jumper and hoodie? Would you feed your significant other's friend?
Do you agree about the personal space part?
You probably don't, because you're not crazy.
I think you do. I think you should.
You know, we eat with our hands. What if I to you? Would your girlfriend get jealous?
I don't think so. Or she might do.
She better do.
She might do.
And that's the end of our episode today. If you like what you heard, share, subscribe, tell your friends, friends, you know? Let's get out there. And I've been looking at the analytics, yeah?
Ooh,
what's going on? We're getting all these viewers, but you're not subscribing?
It's easy, guys. One click.
Click on the bell notification as well. That's the thing, apparently.
Click.
So as soon as we upload, you guys get to know about it.
Also, guys, one last thing.
And girls.
Guys and girls.
And wherever you identify as.
Go down to a Korean store right now and get yourself some Perilla leaves.
I've never had it. I'm very interested in trying it.
I'm going to get you some now.
And I want to see how difficult it is.
I'm going to leave it as a stack, because it comes as a stack, literally like a pack of cards.
What makes it so difficult to eat?
It's the marinade and the stickiness of it. And they're so thin, they're literally glued together. So it literally requires a certain set of skills with the chopstick, right? To really pick it out. It's a struggle. Trust me, it's a struggle.
We're going to try Perilla leaves. We're going to try a lot more. We're also going to try the Bounty Bar. You only have the Bounty Bar.
We bought one specifically for today.
I prematurely concluded this episode. But the last thing we're going to have is Yonny eating a Bounty Bar. He was shitting on Bounty Bars the other week. Now he's going to have one. As a repentance. It's not the dark chocolate one, because they're the best ones. But thoughts? And that's a wrap.
Oh, it tastes so shit, man. Give it back. What do you want it?
What do you mean, man? It's so good.
It's so shit.
Takes me back.